I was in the Army during the atomic testing in Nevada, and the Navy before that. In the Navy, I was going to pre-flight training school, mostly college.
Okay.
And spent 2 years in USC going to college, and then the war was over in '46, and then they disbanded the program, so they let me out of the service. So 3 years later, they drafted me into the Army. They needed more bodies, I guess. And during the Army, I was in the military police, and that was the reason for being in Camp Desert Rock, where the atomic testing was going on, north of Las Vegas, about 65 miles. And they needed police escorts, and we were riding motorcycles and ushering troops in and out of the blast area. And there's a lot of Marines come from Camp Pendleton and different parts of the country. We want to make sure that they got located before they set the bomb off, and make sure they all got out in one piece. And that was our duty there. And that's about all we did while we were at Camp Desert Rock. And when the bomb had gone off, and then we went back to the Presidio of San Francisco, where I was stationed. And my job there was military police duty on the post. Didn't seem to comprehend very much about it at all. They'd never seen one, heard one, or know of one going off any place at all. And it was the first experience I'd ever had. And they had this tower built out of construction steel, about as heavy as you would ever build a bridge with, 500 feet tall, which is a long ways up. And they elevated this bomb on an elevator that was in the tower. And I didn't ever see the bomb actually, but they told me it was the size of a basketball. It was on top of this tower. And they made a lot of practice runs, and the weather had to be just right before they could shoot it because of the wind, the prevailing wind. They would want the fallout going into Utah, which it did, I'm sure, anyhow. But anyhow, we made, I bet, a dozen practice runs. Everybody, all the troops are in place. No, we're not going to shoot it today. Everybody go home or back to your barracks. In the barracks, that was tents. We had tents to sleep in. And they finally, they said, we're going to shoot it today, and so everybody's ready. And we do all this in the dark, make sure everybody's out there before they shoot it early in the morning. And when it went off, I wish now I'd have been more conscious about what was going on. I'd have made some information or a diary or something, but we were close enough to the blast point. You could feel the wind from it, and you brace yourself to keep you from rolling over. And after it went off, then you have to turn around and brace yourself from the vacuum coming back in. It made the mushroom cloud. And it was pretty strong. I remember, if you didn't really brace yourself, it would roll you over. And then we didn't go near the area afterward because they figured there's radiation, and they wanted to let it clear out. So we waited about 6 hours before we went back in to make all the troops come out. There were troops closer than I was. They were in trenches, and they were pretty well protected by being in a trench. And they had about a half a dozen houses built different. Some were wood frame houses, and some were block houses, some adobe houses, and some metal siding. And they were all pretty much all gone except for the concrete block house. It was still standing, but the roofs were all gone. And a lot of fire going on. Anything that was wood was burning, you know. And it was when that bomb had gone off, and then the tower wasn't there any longer, but it looked like an anthill with a big mound of dirt, probably maybe a half a mile wide, and I don't know how deep it was, but it was just like a humongous anthill. It was pretty fascinating to see all that. And after it was all over with, escorted everybody off of the base and sent them home. And that was it. But I remember they told us to cover our eyes with our hands. They didn't give us any eye protection other than just cover your eyes and close your eyes, of course. And I could see the bones in my fingers when that blast went off. It's a little weird. And then I don't remember the noise. We were like, it was 500 feet in the air. So the noise was probably all above us. So I don't remember any big loud boom or anything that you would think there might be. But seeing my bones in my fingers, that was something. I'll never forget that sight. After that, it was just, everything was quiet, back to normal. I don't know what they ever did. The Army, they supplied us with a tag that would check the amount of radiation we would get. And you never know what happened to that. You could, they took them and had them checked.
So you
on.
only wore it during the blast?
Just during the blast, yeah. And they never did report whether you had any or not. So they're not going to tell you. It was quite an experience. That was one of the best things I got out of being in service, was being able to participate in that.